with you later. So here what we're looking at is the teacher view for the progress, and I'll show you again how I access that. I'm gonna click close this. So for you, when you're a teacher and you have your students and you're wondering why a student's stuck or what's going on, you can click on this tab that says view progress. And then you can click on the student name and it will show you where they stopped, like where they got stuck. So if we see that you completed the module 0 set up for success, but that you have all of these modules that are in progress. And the reason that they're open is that they were already released or open. So in IOTL, we don't have prerequisites normally that will stop someone from moving on. In my own personal course, I do. So in my course, my students can't go to module 2 until they complete module 1. So that I'm like forcing a conversation with my students, you know. So here we can see that 1.19, and then this will help you, the recording, because then you can go back and see where it was, right? So 1.19, so if we close this here, we can go to module and then find that 1.19, and here it is. So sandbox assignment, customize your home page. So what this was asking for you to do was, of course, you read all of this, all this fun stuff. And then you share with us, you're going to locate your IOTL sandbox, you're going to customize the homepage, and then you're going to share with us the link. And so for you, it would be, and here's the rubric for that. Everything that should be in that homepage. It's like a checklist.
Did I not share it? I thought I did though.
So maybe you did somewhere else. I don't know. It doesn't show this is done. So let me go into the speed grader here. And I mean, we have so many places where we ask for that. So let's go into and see what's going on. Let's see. Oh, why can't I find you? Is this in alphabetical order? It doesn't look like it's in alphabetical order. It's a long list, actually. Here we go. Here we go. All right, so you did share it. So that's good. That means that we can open it right here. So I'm not really sure why it didn't check off for you, but it shows us it's not.
Okay.
But I probably gave you feedback as well. So here you have your quick starts. You've got your image, your instructional sites. I click on that. This access denied means that it's not published. And so that's a super easy fix. All you have to do is go into your instructional site and publish it. The other thing, and so, but now I think that you have the right site there linked. And that's the other site that's in your dashboard. Yeah, and that's an assignment actually that's coming up today. And so it's a separate assignment. So all you have to do is go into that assignment, find your instruction site, edit it,
publish it.
and then you do have to submit the link to that instructional site, because submitting it in the assignments triggers a notification for us to go in and grade. And so then here we do check accessibility. We check all the links to make sure that they go to the right place. Sometimes the links get go to a different place. Here with the course policies, I actually gave you feedback on this. So the course policies is not really the syllabus.
Oh, okay. But the instruction was to include the syllabus in it.
Well, let me see. So for that assignment, it's not the entire syllabus. What we're looking for is those key elements for that assignment. You know, so it wouldn't be all of these things. Your syllabus, if you wanted to include it like this, you could. Although really there's already a syllabus tab for that, right?
Yeah, I also put it in that syllabus tab, but it's not visible to the students.
So we're going to go into navigation, and we're going to go over here to syllabus, and we're going to click on the 3 dots, the more options, and we're going to enable that. And the syllabus really should go up here somewhere, you know, probably here. And the modules is the most important thing. That's where students are always navigating for everything.
Yeah, that's actually how I tell my students to keep their focus on the modules.
Yes, So very good, because that's really where it should be. So that means that your syllabus is probably in here. Let's see, where is it going to be? Somewhere in here. Probably in the template, I'm thinking. I'm gonna scroll down, see what's this. Where are you? Don't get dizzy as I'm going scrolling through. So maybe it's here. Use a template, don't publish. Not there. These are for you to use, these templates. How about here? Syllabus template. Let's take a look. All right. So it hasn't been filled out. The syllabus page. This syllabus page would have all of your information. So what we can do
Okay.
is,
What I did was to put it under syllabus, but it's you know has that I that has a slash on it, which means it's not visible, and it's
oh,
only visible to me.
oh, okay. So is it, but I can't find it in your course. Is it in here somewhere?
I don't know. It's very small from where I'm looking at.
Okay, well, let me click on your course policies and let me click on that document, because this looks like it's probably a Word document. Yeah. So this is a Word document. And although this could be fine, it's not the recommendation, actually, because
Okay.
even our chairs will look for the syllabus tool. They have that link through a tool that's called Ready Go. And so
Uh-huh.
what the chairs do is that they can look through all of the courses and just check off syllabus, 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 syllabus for everyone in their department. And
Okay.
and so this is sort of old school, the way we were doing this here.
Because I'm old school.
I'm older school. So yes, but this is a teachable moment. There are a couple of things, even
Yeah.
within this, even though we're probably gonna, probably scrap this and put something else in here. One of
Okay.
them is that this is not accessible, this pink, and this light blue
Yeah.
on pink is definitely not accessible.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
have the little man over here on the bottom, the accessibility checker.
Yes. Yes.
That will show you that that's not accessible. And then it also tells you that your headers are not in order. That's the other
Okay.
accessibility. And
Okay.
then, I always, when I edit, when I'm using the templates, I always click on the little rocket, and it's a huge recommendation
Yes.
because
Yes.
they'll protect your template. So then, for
Yeah.
example, here, you can click on accessibility and it will show you where there's the red. So there's a heading 1. I don't even
Okay.
know how that happened, because we can't even put in heading 1s. And so an evaluation, which it probably will be removed anyway, course evaluation, course requirements evaluation. So this here, I don't know, there's some goofiness going on, because here when I show this, it shows that it's a paragraph, but just big.
Oh, is it because of the big space between?
It could be that there's something else going on there. There we go. So now
Right.
the heading 3, you can see now there's all green. And so your headings align, at least your headings are
Okay.
set. But then the color is still wrong here. So one of the things that we can do is click on this, click the little target symbol that's on the top underneath the design tools,
Okay.
and then go into the colors for this. Let me see if they'll show us the colors. It's probably not going to show us the colors on this like that. Let me see here.
But whatever
There it is.
words that's in the pink, I can transfer it to the white background anyway, right?
You can. We can click on it there and see how it tells us that the
Oh,
pink is
is that a
here.
link? Wait a minute. Is that the link to my PDF?
That's the link to your Word doc. Yeah.
Oh, it
So
just
we're
went
going to
there.
do
It
that.
went there by itself.
The link.
Yeah, when I uploaded the PDF format or the Word document, it just went directly to that pink area.
Ah, that's interesting. That's probably because your cursor was there. So one of the
Oh,
things that you could do is because that pink is not accessible, right? Is to type in
The white background, yes.
for ECGT 101, and then you highlight that. You go to insert document, course
Yes.
document, because it's
Yeah.
already in here.
Yeah.
And then we find it, which is probably this one here.
And then get rid of the pink area.
And I always click on bold. I do a formatting for bold only because the links are sometimes not that, don't show as well.
Yeah.
And then there, so then that will have it, but this is the big thing to notice. Notice how this is not the file extension. Whereas here, it has the .doc, the file.
Yeah.
So this up here is like not accessible all sorts of ways. One of them's because of the pink, the other one's because of the file. So what we do is that we'll just go back here and we'll backspace out of that. And let's see if it'll let us do that.
In order for it to be accessible, should I upload it first under my files in order for it to be accessible?
Well, it's already, it was already in your files,
Oh,
actually.
it was, okay.
So let me see what's going on here with this button. Because it's supposed to let us go ahead and roll that out, and it's not. Let's see here.
Yeah,
I'm put a couple of
thinking
spaces here.
now, it's probably because my cursor was in that pink area when I uploaded it.
I think you're right. I think that's probably it. So let me see if I can do that. Paste that there. And backspace.
Because I had to make that correction in my instructional site page. Everything that I wrote was staying on the pink area, and then I remembered from your video that no, don't put anything on the pink area because it's not visible to the students.
There you go. It's not visible. And so we there we go. So then this would be a little bit more accessible because it doesn't have that pink. The pink that's there is left there by the template designer to like say, hey, heads up. This is where you need to include this. So this here would be more accessible simply because it is not the file name with the file extension, right? And that it's loaded in here.
Okay.
Now, but I mean, I feel like so sad because we really can't have it like this because this this would need to be reformatted and everything. There's a bunch of things here. For example, your file here, if we click link, then in the text part of this, we would change that to CCSF email for.
Oh, also, is there a reference to check what elements need to be in the course policies?
Yes, there is. I'm so glad you asked. So we're going to keep this page here. Let me see if I can open up.
So I can modify all of this because I copied this from my old syllabus.
Yeah, okay. So if we go back up here and we go into the modules, and I'm going to have to remember where that is for the course policies. We can see here, I think course policies already comes down like week 4. And even within that assignment, I think. So visual roadmap. Let's see if that was over here.
Do you know how far along I haven't tracked myself?
You have quite a bit to go, actually. So here, like if you have in here, developing equitable policies, this is in module 4, right?
Okay.
So from here all the way down, communication policy, drop policy, participation, late work. And then if you click on the assignment itself with the instructions, it shows here kind of what we're hoping you will include.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I think the rubric, whoops. Well, a lot of folks you can see shared how they did that. So you can see examples of that.
Oh, yeah.
And so the course policies has a 2-parter. One part is to share with everyone else, and then you can also see what they've done. Boy, it's a lot of work, right? So you can see that scroll there. I think you're only have to reply to 2 people on this. And then if you hit next, then we have the OER, open resources, information, time management. And then we're going to have another assignment that comes up here. This is probably one of these. So here's your course design map. No, that's another thing you need to do, but it's not the course policies. Here's our 101 appointment, which we're doing right now. Yay. And then here it is, sandbox, create a course policies page. So that course policies then gets doubled up. It's twice that you're actually using that same page. So one of them you're including in that discussion to share with everyone. And then here, it says, okay, this is what we want to see. And what you're doing is you're linking that page in here. And then it has here the
when I
rubric
submit it. Okay.
when you submit it. So there are a couple of different things, and that's why we're like, navigate the menu there. Let me see here.
Is there an assignment tab there that I need to click?
An assignment here. So for this, yes. So on our side, I can't see, let me see if
Oh,
we'll
okay,
do
okay.
student view.
Yeah, okay.
There's a start assignment here. And then once you start assignment, it will give you these options on the top. And what you do is you just copy and paste that same course policies link right here, which says website URL. And then you submit. Yeah. And
Am I able to copy other people's work? I mean, at least pattern it to my class.
Yeah, so like I would say in the discussion one, let me go back to that discussion page if I can.
Maybe I'll copy Devin's.
Yes, Devin has a pretty good one. Let me see. That was a discussion. So in the discussion, you'll see, I could eyeball really quickly and tell you who had a pretty good one.
I don't know how you can do that. I mean, this is just wow, this is like fast. I mean,
It is.
how you can spot it, I don't know how you do it.
It's a lot. It's a lot, but you can see here, like this one, John's is pretty good. He has his
Okay.
course policies. He's using already the headers, that we want, the drop policy, the late work policy,
Oh, I can copy that.
make it your own,
Yeah.
make it your own. And then you can always have that in your course itself and then in this assignment. So
Okay.
normally in the feedback for this, I give feedback and then I say, all right, it's update these little things and you can just take this, copy and paste it right in this page. And so that will help. And then for your syllabus, so you do have it here. So I'm going to just wipe this out for you because this is not really what it should be.
Mm.
And so I'm just going to wipe this out here for you. So that you have a clean slate to work off of.
Okay.
And the one that you should be using is the one that's in this one, the syllabus template. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that for you. So you have a copy. That way you can leave this one intact. I always leave a template intact just in case. And then this syllabus you can put right here, right before the syllabus quiz, right? And then here what we'll do is when we go in, so it doesn't get confused with other stuff, we can edit this.
I actually made a quiz there.
You did? Oh, that's great. Oh, and so your course is EGCT?
ECGT.
ECGT.
Yeah,
Dyslexia.
ECGT.
And the number, what's the number?
101.
101. There we go. And so
Yeah,
now
I was trying to put in 3 questions, but it allowed only 2.
well, let's take a look at that because it should let you have more. So now you've got this one. It's the page, and the reason we ask that you use this page first is because the 3 dots on the far right side is the only place where you can view a page history, which means that you can see the last time that it was revised and the last time you liked it. And that's in case you make a mistake. So you can always go back and then, update it or find the element you needed. So that once this is all done, then you're going to copy all of this and put it into this placeholder right here. Okay. And so you were saying that you have questions, but it was only giving you 2 options.
Yeah, it was only allowing me to enter 2 questions. I tried to enter 3, but it wouldn't let me.
All right, we got to see what's going on with that. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next here at the bottom. Take a look at your quiz. I'm going to go into edit. You have the template, which is good. You can make this your own. If you know, most of us just leave it exactly the way it is. But if you needed to change something here, you could. And then we're going to go into questions. And we have your question 1. You're encouraged to have your microphone. And then you are required to have your video on during all online tests. Well, that's good for you to tell them if that's a requirement. So in order to add a new question, you would click here on new question. And then we would go ahead and what's the question you want here?
I can't remember now, but I tried doing that, but it won't let me.
Okay, so
It just
question
allowed me 2
here,
questions.
we'll leave a placeholder.
Yeah,
The number 1 here, the first one, that's always the correct answer.
yeah,
And then the rest are the wrong answers.
yeah.
And then there's a 2-part saving for quizzes. So it's update question here, and then it's save here.
Yeah.
And so now if we were to preview,
Is it there now?
we would see it with question number 1, you're encouraged, okay, so true. And then here you're required true. And then your placeholder for your next 3rd question.
Okay, so I don't know what I was missing at that time.
I'm not sure. It could have just been like the 2 save, the update, and then
Yeah,
save.
it could
have
be
been
that I wasn't saving it the
Mhm.
second time.
A second time, yeah. That could be it. But that's great that you're using this. All right. So what other thing? There are a couple of things. So yeah, so right now, I guess because you're super busy, you have so much you need to do. I would say jump into the course, just go through the modules. I know it's a lot, but go through the modules just so you can see what all is there, right? Because a lot of the stuff is going to help inform you. Let me see, is that my other course? I'm just jumping into all of my courses and everything. But now that I'm in my own course, let me show you. So with the modules, and this is a summer course, so it's going to be always wonky. What we're hoping that you will do is that by Sunday, we need you to share a link to your course and tell us what module you want to review. So let's say this is your course. You could say, hey, Monica, please review module 4. And so then
Where do I say that then?
that will be in the assignment itself.
Okay.
So one of the assignments that comes up, speak grade introduction. Let me see if I can find that again.
Is that module, what module is that?
That is going to be module 5. So I'm going to go into our IOTL course.
Okay.
And scroll way at the bottom. And here we have checkpoint, initial course review, module content 1. So this is one content module. This is already in the checkpoints. So this you're going to do after you've done all of these other things. Here's that instructional site one. That's an easy one. Here's your final reflections, super easy as well. This one with the course reviews, the only reason that this is a little bit more challenging is that you have to give your post review easy, but then you need to review 2 other peer reviews. And so that's why it can be challenging for some students, only because you can't just do it and then leave, not come back. You have to come back to this. If I were to click on this on my end and then see the peer reviews, I could see, for example, so let me go, Francia, where are you? Did it just pass you there? So I can see right here that there's nothing submitted. And because there isn't submitted, you don't have anybody to review yet. As soon as you submit, then you will get 2 folks to take a look at their work, right?
Okay.
And so
Devin is right above me. I can just easily just review hers.
well, you can't like pick who you review. The system will assign you 2 people.
And really?
Yes. And so Devin's already being reviewed by Priscilla and by somebody else, someone somewhere else. So like, for instance, if we go to Priscilla's, we can see that I reviewed it, right? And then other people have not reviewed her yet. So they haven't reviewed her yet. If we go into Devin's, we can see that Devin posted her own take on the OEIs and that Priscilla.
My goodness, look at what all she wrote, all of that. Oh my goodness.
She wrote all this. And so that Priscilla has reviewed here. and I have reviewed, but there's still another person missing to give review. So each person ideally would get 3 reviews, 1 from the facilitator and then 2 from the peers. And then of course, we're asking that the rubric be used, because then you can just quickly give the points here and then type out your comment. So that's kind of this assignment.
Okay.
It's actually, peer reviews are a pain for whoever's grading them. That's the truth of the matter. So what I do is I have 2 screens open. One of them I'm reading what's going on, and the other one I'm checking to see
Oh
who they
no.
reviewed. So,
You're
but for you, it
multitasking.
shouldn't be that hard. You're just going to read the assignment itself. You're going to go ahead and post what you want to talk about. And then as soon as you do that, you should be able to see maybe on the top right-hand corner, the 2 reviews you need to do.
Okay.
So that's that one. And then let's go back. So we were asking about and then once you've finished module 5 with everything that's in that, module 4, module 5 on being present, and see here we have the online learning objectives, final review, and this. So it's a pretty short thing. There's not a lot there, but we're asking that you go through there. Then you have the initial course review, 1 content module. And what we're hoping that will happen here when you post this is you're going to give us a link. And this, when you post the link in the comments, you're going to say, Monica, please take a look at module 4 or module 5, whichever module it is. And what I will do is that I'm going to go in and then give you as much feedback as I can on these elements. Welcome letter, homepage, course navigation, course module list, syllabus, 1 complete module. That would be like, say, module week 4, if you want. The orientation module. You already have the template, so it's just a matter of filling all that out. Opportunity for unstructured student-to-student interaction. So that can be like the student lounge. And a reflective self-assessment, summative assignment assessment, and anonymous end of course survey. And so all of those things are already there. But by the time you give us this link, it does take us a while to review because we're going through all of that in your course. It's a lot. But then we give you feedback. And then what the expectation is that you take the feedback we give you on all of this and you apply it to 25% of your course. So that would be all new modules. So you know that appointment that you made for, when was it? The 17th, I think?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. So by that meeting of the 17th, what we're hoping to see is 25% of your course already done, which means that we could copy that course right into a real course and that you would be at least 4 weeks ahead of your students, at least.
Okay.
Now, that's not ideal. I mean, that's a nightmare situation for me. And I've been given courses on a Friday to start teaching on a Monday. And so I spend the whole time just trying to flesh out the whole thing. But the nightmare situation is to have students right up behind us as we're developing, so ideal situation, the whole course would be done. And that way you're just troubleshooting, welcoming students, grading, and not also designing.
Okay.
So let me see if I can go ahead and find your course back again here. Here we go. So in your course, I can help you with this. You already have your orientation module. Let's say that week 1, well, let's say week 2. Week 2 is probably a better week, that you want to have that unstructured place for unstructured discussion. You already have the student lounge. And so I'm going to add it there, here, the student lounge. And that's a reminder to you that as long as you have the student lounge here, you're going to be okay. And it's all fleshed out here, even with helpful tips. And all you have to do is publish. So review it. If you like it, publish it. You can put this student lounge in other modules if you want, or just there. It's the one place where students can interact without structure. These here are an example of how we need to place these PDFs into and videos into actual pages. So we can't have them bare like this. And the reason for that is that there isn't any instruction that students have. And so you and I are both old school. You give us a book, we probably start reading chapter 1. You
Yeah,
know, you don't even have to say anything. We just
yeah,
know. Look at the index table contents and start reading. Our
yeah,
students nowadays ask, how will I use this in the future? Why do I need to do this? Do I need
yeah,
to read the whole thing?
yeah,
And so one of the things that really helps is to be able to provide instruction. And we can't do this here. We can't
yeah,
provide instruction because it's not in a page. So what you would do is create a page and then put that in.
yeah.
So
In a way, it kind of dulls their self-initiative, but that's the way it is now.
that's the way it is because students are busy like we are. And
Yeah,
so we need to tell them how something's going to help them on future assessments.
yeah,
You know, so we'll say this lecture on EKG, not only will you're reviewing it and understanding it fully help you save somebody's life,
I know.
but but it will come up in the discussion, or it's
Yeah,
going to you're going to be tested on this live
yeah,
or whatever it is. So that's why we do that for this page here, because you have your templates. What we're asking is that you sort of keep your templates intact only because that way you can always come back to them if you need them. So what we're going to do, and there's instruction, how to use the templates. There's
okay,
full on instruction, but I'm going to give you the short version and then you can go back to the instructions if I
sure.
don't make sense. So I'm going to use the 3 dots on the side. I'm going to duplicate this so I can leave this intact. Then I'm going to drag this over to my first module, my first content module here.
Okay,
And so this looks like the series is orientation, introduction to EG. Now, because you already have an introduction page, maybe you could change this just to introduction to,
okay,
because you already have an orientation page module, this one. And so introduction means, okay, we're getting into it now. We're going to get into the nitty gritty of the actual course content. No more, oh, this is how you do this and how are you feeling on all that. So here in this page here, I am going to just copy this language here because I do retype a lot of things, but I don't really like doing that. And I'm going to hit
yeah,
edit. And then I'm going to click on the little rocket because the little rocket is the design rocket that helps
yeah,
preserve our template. And then here, instead of sample orient overview, I'm going to remove sample. And we're going to call this module 1. And I'm going to paste syllabus. Oh, no, it's not syllabus. This was called introduction to, right? Introduction to, was it that? And you can change this. And then
Is it okay to put, the module, the header, to put the date when that's going to happen? Because
yeah,
uh, some of my students, when if I just put module number
we
one,
don't,
whatever,
I don't
two,
know.
sometimes they miss a class and they're like, oh, which module are we on now?
Yes, absolutely. And you'll notice in my own, if I can go back to that somewhere. End of week 4, speak grader. I was probably doing some speak grader stuff. If we go into my own, you'll notice that I put that in here.
The
So this
dates,
is how
okay,
I head mine. I say module 4, week 4. I give them what the dates are. And you know what, actually that helps me because I teach at different colleges and we don't all module 1, week 1 is not all the same for me. So I
yeah,
kind of need to know where I am. And
yeah,
then I go a step further and I say here unit part 3 and I give them the chapters. That's because this is a summer course. If module
okay,
4 were chapter 4, then I wouldn't do all of this other crazy stuff. I would just put module 4, week 4, the dates, and then here instead of unit, blah, 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 I would say, Asian Americans, model minorities,
yeah. Well,
minorities.
there was one instruction. They said, don't put the week number, just stay
Yeah.
with the module.
Yes, that's so Lisa Yamashiro, I don't know if you remember her,
Yeah.
just sort of super love Lisa. And so she's retired. She doesn't work with us anymore. And
Oh,
so that was really one of her pet peeves that she didn't want to see what the week was or the
yeah.
date. And the reason for that is that it's easier for you to copy over and not have to deal with changing the module heading anymore because
Uh,
it's always going to be module 4, no matter what. And so I had to explain to her what happens for folks like me who teach at different places where module 4 is not the same. And now
Yeah.
another reason to do this is that my students might be in a 13-week course. Yours might be in a 6-week course. That means that for that same student, if we share the student, their module 4 is not going to be the same week.
Yeah.
So that's the reason for it. But it's an excellent question. And then you can see here, I also have an overview page. My overview page, I give them what we're doing. Okay, so we're going to take a look at Asian Americans and Native Americans. I give them some information here. You don't have to do everything I've done here, but you do have to include your learning outcomes for that weekly module. Now here, because this is summer class, summer's always weird. So I just have so much going on that I have to piece it out for them. But notice here, students are expected to spend 20 hours a week. And then I have my schedule. My schedule for summers, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they got all this work to do. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they only have to wrap up and move ahead. So I don't give any due dates, deadlines, reply dates, anything then. It's all there. So that for yours, which I think is where did we move it? Let me find it. I think it's going to be here and otherwise checkpoint, customize. I just had yours open, so let me see if I can find it quickly. Because I don't think I sampled it. Oh, here it is. So for yours, for example, 2.5 weeks. So let me see, how many weeks is your course?
16 and a half.
16, okay. And how many units is this?
4.
4 units. Okay, so my course is a 3-unit course, and it is the amount of work they need to provide is between 8 and 10 for a 3-unit course. And so some folks do parse out, oh, the 2.5 is what we're doing synchronous, and so they will separate all of that out for their students, say, well, more or less 2.5 synchronous meetings, 2.5 Canvas work, 2.5, hands-on work or whatever. Pardon me. I can't do that. And also every student is different. So the only thing I do here is put the range between 8 and 10, because your course is 4 units. I think the range here is something like 10 to 12 hours per week that students need to invest in your course. If this seems too high to you, then what we can do is make this one lower. So
Is that average? 12 hours?
yeah, so between, like for mine, it's between 8 and 10 hours a week. And so what happens with my students is the students who are super quick, they roll up their sleeve, they don't have to read anything twice. For them, they're not normally done in maybe 6.5 weeks. But then I have students who are like me, and it takes me longer. I reread everything, and I take notes, and then I come back and reread again. So for me, it takes a lot longer. It would take me, probably the 12 hours a week. But
Yeah.
it might hurt my self-esteem if all I had here was 5 hours a week and it's taking me 12 hours to do it, right?
Yeah.
So giving a range sort of helps all of the students. The smart students feel really good that they're completing things faster. And then the
Yeah.
slower students not feel bad because they're still in the range, right? Or
Yeah.
maybe they're just
So
an hour over.
I should probably put there 8 to 10.
8 to 10. Okay, so let me put
Okay.
here 8 to 10 hours. And then if you're going to keep that Monday, Wednesday situation, that's fine. You can leave this completely as is. And do you have any synchronous meetings, like Zoom meetings or in classroom meetings?
I know in classroom, I mean, at least previously, all is City Zoom.
City Zoom. So City Zoom. And do you know what days those are going to be?
Mondays.
Okay, Mondays. All right. So then, for example, here, new module begins, tune in for the announcement. And then here somewhere, you can say, use City Zoom to access our meeting. At what time is your meetings? Do you already know?
Yeah, it's from 6 to 9.
6, holy moly, 9 p.m. I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so that way it's on Monday. You're telling students where to do it. An added plus might be to actually link it, but you're actually telling them where to go and find that. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. I think our students right now are just really sharp because they've been using Canvas for a while now.
Yeah.
And then this covers that part that you have that Monday sort of requirement. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you want to change this, you can. I open my new module instead of opening on Saturdays, I open them Wednesday. But that's completely up to you, and you can edit this as you see fit, whatever you want. And so what we'll do is we'll save this because you still have to edit a little bit here. But now this page is already there, and it's here overview. When you go into edit this, you'll put in the title. Right now, I just put introduction to your course, but I think I probably should have put something else. Let me see. Oh no, 101. You can include that if you want. Next
Okay.
up, so every module, and I'm going to type this up as well. Every module, learning content module, needs to include a couple of elements. So learning content module. And why do I say learning content? Because those are different than the overview modules, right? Learning
Mm-hmm.
content modules need to include overview page with learning objectives, content page, at least one, assessments, so an assignment, a quiz, even if it's a vocabulary quiz, 5 questions, multiple choice, that you don't ever have to look at unless everybody fails. The computer Canvas will do its job grading that. Can be low stakes, so not any big, big summative assessments. So not like the big exams that you give where they have to have their video on and all of that. A discussion.
Yeah. The reason why I require that is because when they, at the end of the program, when they get their certification nationally,
Mhm.
the testing centers who converted to Zoom, they actually have to have their videos on while taking the test, and they even have to move their camera under the desk where they are, around the room. They want to know if there's any other person in the room with them. So
Yeah.
I just want to have them a simulation of what they would expect when they get the national
Oh,
exam.
that's great. It's great. It's very authentic. We have like the need to have authentic assessments. And so
Mm,
that aligns with that you are
yeah,
providing for them practice in a real case scenario. These
yeah.
other quizzes I'm talking about, these sort of formative, those are like you don't have to worry about those. They're kind of like these classic quiz on the course policies page. They are just to make sure that students are reviewing the work. A lot of times it's vocabulary. So for me, mine would be reviewing vocabulary like racism, oppression, kind of
Mm,
dominant, blah blah. So it's not these are not going to carry a lot of weight, but they
okay.
help move students forward. All right, so I put those in the chat. The next thing is, and we'll go back to your samples here, that there are 3 different sample pages that you can use depending on the kind of information you're going to provide. So there's a sample page that's kind of just heading, instruction, and then the content. There's a sample page that is going to be with the accordion tabs like this. I kind of tend to like this because I give a lot of information. I would rather give them information in one page than have a lot of different pages. And so
Okay.
that's why I like this mode. There's also the tab. In a lot of my courses, I don't have the luxury of using City Labs, the tools that we use for the design, because City College pays for that, right?
Uh,
So a lot of my colleges, they can't afford that. So that in those colleges, I have to use tabs like this to organize my work. And that's because I'm using HTML coding to do it. But it's not very accessible for students because on their phones, they need to scroll past. They don't just open like the accordions do.
Yeah.
So my
Now,
recommendation would be to use accordions if you can.
now, see, um, because I'm teaching EKG with, very small waveforms, I usually will tell them that their phone will not work because the images are going to be too small.
Right.
In
That's
fact,
great.
yeah, in fact, during their exam, I tell them ahead of time that
Mhm.
you will not be able to view the waveforms well because the phone has a limitation as to how much pixels that they can have, and plus there's a variety of cell phones out there. Some
You
of
know
them,
what? That reminds me that that's a perfect thing to put in probably in your course policies, maybe.
yeah, yeah,
In your course
I will do that.
policies, you
Yes,
can
I will do
include,
that.
I mean, we used to have, and we still do, we have a requirement for technology, and so there's another place. So you can put that in, that's very important information for student success. You can
Yeah,
put in the course policies, you can have it in the syllabus, and then that same language that you use there, put it in the orientation module. We have a place for student success,
yeah.
and that's another really great place to put that. So I'm
Okay,
going to show you here an example of my content page, because there I have the information in your content page. You don't have to do what I've done here and put the objectives again. You can just put here the instruction as you read, blah, 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 right?
mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then I use the accordions because that way I can put in my lecture right there. Which should be accessible. And I check that by clicking on the CC captions. Notice it says English, not auto-generated English.
Mm.
And then I have the reading. So I have AI.
Asian Americans model minority.
So I have the AI there. Instructions here on the vocabulary. And then I provide them with an accessible a PDF that was scanned using this really great scanner that uh, scans for Adobe with tags. So it's accessible. I mean, some students love it. Others are using other things. That's up to them. But I'm trying
Okay,
to provide different ways for them to review, really, in essence, the same material. Now,
okay,
this here, notice that it opened. I set it up so that this would present open. So, and I can show you how to do that if you want. It's very simple. Instead of students having to click on it, my students don't engage too much if there's a click. But if it's open, they will actually, oh, let me take a look at what's in there, And then
oh,
I have the slide deck straight from the publisher. It's no frills, if you can see this, but it's accessible. And so some students really like to just have it broken down simple. No images, no nothing. They just want simple. And so I have that in that modality. And then here I have a recap. And this recap is just for the whole unit, and some students take a look at it, others look at it, see what is there, and ignore it. So, which is fine,
that's
that's the
fine.
way it's going to be. So you can pick whichever one of these pages you want to pick. I think for that page that you have with that PDF, this
Mm,
one probably will work the best because it's simple. So what we'll do is we'll go into the modules here. And again, I'm going to duplicate by moving my cursor to the right-hand side, clicking on the three dots for content, duplicating that. And then I'm going to move this down either by yanking it down or by clicking on the three dots and move to. And I'm going to move it to the module 1. And
okay,
then I'm going to do it to the top. It's going to go to the top. So then now I've got that content page here. I'm just going to move it down where it belongs, further down. This content page is now going to house Introduction to EKG Lecture PDF. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click on Edit. I'm going to change the title of this because this is not content page, da, da, da. Instead, I'm going to say it's introduction to, what is it? What was this? EKG?
ECGT 101.
Oh, ECGT 101. So that's that same document here. Then this is going to be module 1. Instead of sample content page, you're going to say handout, if that's what that was. Introduction, da 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 da. Here the header is going to be that same thing. The title of that page, handout. And then here is where you're going to link that. So this one was, let me see. It's really bad memory. Let me save here. Let me take a look at your module. Let me take a look at that. What was it called? It was called oh, it's just the lecture. It's the lecture. Okay.
Okay.
It is EKG, right?
Yeah.
EKG. This is what I wanted.
Yeah,
Okay.
EKG is the old term for ECG. It's actually the German for it.
I got you. So that changed. Okay.
Yeah. See, I'm already teaching.
You're already teaching. So I don't know, it was a new term, old term. So handout. So here we're going to say lecture handout on EKG, also known as
EKG, yeah. Also known as EKG.
AKA
EKG.
ECGT, or the other way around.
Yeah.
ECGT, AKA, in case you have anybody, what was it, EKG?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we're going to highlight this here, insert, and because this is a document you already uploaded. And I know you uploaded because I've seen it in the module, right? If it were a brand new document that you don't have yet in your course, then you would click upload document. You would go to your hard drive or wherever you keep that file, and then you would upload it. But here we're just going to click on course documents, and we're going to find it with your help. It's lecture. Oh, here it is. Introduction to EKG lecture PDF. So we're going to select that. Notice it highlights, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so click on that. Now, this is what I was talking about in terms of presenting it. So we're going to click once in the middle somewhere, click on link options, and then here we're going to click on preview inline and expand preview by default. And then we're going to click on done, and we're going to save. And so now when students come into this page, and of course you're going to make this nice and make sense. I'm just trying to help you with the weird tech part. So then here, this is accessible because it doesn't show that the PDF file extension. It will be aligned because you're going to give them information here. Even if it's a quick line that you keep repeating. As you read this, think about key terms, the practicality, whatever it is. And then here is that wonderful presentation lecture that you have here.
Okay.
And now you would have to double check that all of these images have alt descriptions and all that fun stuff, right? But for now, it presents. So that means, especially because you include images, it just draws the viewer in, right? Where a link doesn't have that same sort of magnetism, if you will. And then here, you decide that you're only going to have this and that's it. But what if you decide that here, you're going to put that video? So let's take a look at your modules. I'm going to scroll down to, here you have this, that one. We've taken care of this one because it's already in here. So we're just going to remove it. Removing anything from the modules list doesn't mean that it's deleted. It just means that it's not showing here in the module. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But we know it still exists because now it's even on this page. So here we have the ECG Technician Handbook PDF. All right, so we're going to go back in here. So let me see here. And that's going to be Technician Student Handbook. Okay. As you can tell, I got COVID brain because my memory is just absolutely horrible. Can't remember a whole lot. But we're going to go ahead and go in, use the template go in here, and then this handout is going to be the ECG technician. And so then here you're going to say student, is it handbook?
Yeah, there is a handbook.
Okay, so student handbook. So
There's
we're
a
gonna
file. It's
It's-
actually a file.
It's a
It's
file.
in PDF, yeah.
All right, so we're going to go into document, course documents, and then we're going to look for that. This one, technician student handbook, PDF. It highlights yellow, tells us that that took. We'll close that down. Now we want to see if this can open again, so we can entice students to engage. Although you probably don't have to do this with your students. I have to do it with mine. My students are like, let me just get through it. So here, the student will be able to scroll down, and then we'll see that the handbook is presented as well. So in the instructions at the top, you can tell them, be sure to scroll down so you can take a look at the student handbook, download, place in your folders. It will come up later on, in your career or whatever it is. So Rufi, thank you so much for your patience as I've been trying to go through some of these
Yeah.
elements.
Oh, these
And
are
as-
very helpful.
Oh, I'm so glad. And I'm glad we're recording it because I'll send it to you. You can pause, you
Yes.
fast
I-
forward. Some people like to speed me up.
Yeah.
And so here what you will see then is that now you can remove this one because you already have that, right? It's in
Yeah.
here already. So we're just going to go in and remove that. And that's the way to place all of these links that you have into actual pages, content pages. And then here later on, if you decide what else goes, maybe this is all they need. They might not need copious pages of content. After
Okay.
this, you can decide to give them a quiz on the vocabulary. You can give them an assignment where they're actually submitting something. They
Yeah.
can submit whatever it is that you decide that you need. The discussion is key. So you
Okay.
absolutely have to have a discussion every week. Mine are called end of week discussions. And I don't even know if this helps, but I can show you, where the heck do I have that? I think it's here. I can show you my end of week discussions. They look something like this. And I split mine into two groups because I have way too many students to be reading 45 emails and then 45 reply posts. That's too crazy. So
Oh my.
I split it just in two groups. So each group only has to deal with 20 some folks.
Oh,
And
that's
it's
still a lot.
it's
still a
module
lot.
4. This is end of week 4 discussion. I tell them the extension closes on Friday. I tell them when things are due, Thursday. I have the Thursday to Thursday. So I
Okay.
don't have the sort of Wednesday to Sunday or anything like that. I'm like, jump in the same day.
Okay.
Thursday, jump in, post, stay in the discussion, reply to your peers, and be done with it. And then I noticed, of course, a typo, which this is why I love it when people look at my stuff because they can find my typos. I have the purpose instructions. I tell them to
Yeah.
post by 10 p.m. And then here I have a bit of self-assessment. In our courses, we need to have for a 16-week course, at least 3 places where we give students opportunities for self-assessment, right?
Okay.
And so for my students, I give them this opportunity every week because I incorporate it into the end of week discussion. Not all faculty want to do that. So there are a couple of different ways to do that. You can have a student self-assessment that is like a survey. And we already gave you a template for that if you want to use that. And all you're doing is you're asking students how they're doing. Are they able to keep up with the reading? How do they feel? It's very metacognitive, how are they
Yeah.
doing? How are they feeling? And then so some folks also like to make it an assignment where students brainstorm their self-assessment and upload that document, and so that's just student to teacher. The discussion clearly is student to their peers and teacher. So, but my students love it because they're always talking about their challenges, how they overcome it, tips. So it's really a nice place to share.
Yeah.
The other way that you can do it Well, those are the three ways. You can use a survey, so it's a quiz. You can use, like I have, a discussion, or you can have an assignment. As long as you have three places for that, you're good. I
Okay.
am go overboard and just do it every week. And then
Okay.
another thing that you need to have is a place or opportunity for students to explore or remediate. We don't use the word remediate so much because it sounds negative. But where
Mm.
that is that you might have students who are not quite grasping a concept, and you
Mhm.
might want to include something that is more step by step or less, will have less cognitive overload. But then at the same time, you will have students who maybe were already in the field, who are sharp, who already understand everything, and they're ready to explore more. So for those students, you also want to give them opportunities for exploration. And so
Mm.
that might be links to journal articles, or new developments and or
Oh
doctors
yeah,
without
yeah.
borders, or
You're giving me ideas. Yeah,
internships or job opportunities or whatever
yeah.
it is.
Or
I like
or EKG case, a medical case.
a medical, like I think
Right.
that would be great. I think students would be salivating to be able to read a real case, right?
Yeah.
And so that you know, I mentioned I don't like having a whole heap of things in my modules. So what I do is that I incorporate that sort of dig a little deeper and remediation, the basic information, along with my discussion
Yeah.
and my self-assessment. I'm like trying to cover a lot of basic things in one place. I'm like, can I just put it, let me be succinct and put it all in one place. So I am happy to share this with you. It contains
Okay.
template stuff, and then you can edit, so you can make this your own. So I'm going to go into send to, and let me say Rufino. I think you're the only Rufino
Yes.
Francia on campus. So I'm going to share this to you, and you will receive it on your top left-hand corner. You have an account. It will be right there, and then you can download it into your course. So let me see if here, let me go into your own course here. And will it let me do it from here? No, because you are you and you are not me. So the account for yours will be your image and yours. But you would basically go into the account, you will go into shared content. You will see that I shared something with you right
Okay.
here. And then you would import it into whatever module you want, and then you can use that. You can use it by copying it over and all of
Yeah.
that. The only tip with the copying over is to make sure that you give it a different name. So if it's,
Yeah.
I title them end of week. So end of week 2 is different than end of week 3, even though the content is pretty much similar. It's the same except for the
Okay.
exploration parts.
Okay.
All right. So I am so sorry that I've kept you so long and
Oh no,
probably
no. This is good. This is really good for me.
okay.
Do you think I will be successful in completing this by the
I
end of
really
this
pray
week?
and hope so, because you've got a team of people here really cheering you on. So, we have been like, oh God, we need to. So we panic more, I think.
Okay.
You're on vacation and you're like, and then we're all panicky.
Yeah.
Because the reason is that there's a lot to do, a lot to
Yeah.
complete, but this course needs to be approved to be taught online. So what
Yeah.
happens is, if it's not come July 17th or 18th when you signed up, is that then the course would have to be canceled, because we can't just switch it over to face to face. And the
Yeah.
reason for that is that students have already signed up, and they signed up for a certain modality. So that means that they may have signed up for somebody else's course that would meet, now the Wednesday when you would have to do that. The other thing is that the chairs are able to cancel a course, create a new one, right? That now meets the face-to-face requirements. But then that means that all of the students from the previous
We have to re-register. Yeah.
would have to re-register, and that's kind of a pain. And so we're really, like I said, cheering you on. We've got your back. We want you to be successful. Both Fred and I, well, we're onliners from old time onliners, so that we really do see this as such an equitable bit of instruction, that it reaches out most of our students our students, for the most part, have to work, are taking care of elder parents and children and have jobs
That's me.
and so, and that's me too. And so the
Yeah.
thing is that being able to offer this would just be so great in other classes. And we want you to develop more classes. So,
Yeah.
so we kind of want to hold you and hug you to us and keep you
Thank you. Thank you.
and then help you.
But
And
what
so,
do you think? What if after all the effort that I put in, if it doesn't meet the, the requirement or expectation from your group, what happens?
well, I, and you, and maybe I should stop recording.